That is what the circle of forest is. A sphere. It is not very large, with a diameter of about 750 meters. 2 meters of bare rock surround it, and the wilderness lies beyond that. Fern, moss, cliff, and weeds. Inside the circle, unusual and dense trees and vegetation grow. Tonight it is raining. As the rain pelts and clatters against the roof, I sit in my tiny hut with a mug of hot tea. One corner has a leak, and it quickly drips down into a container I've set up there. My leg is resting against my rifle. My hut has a clear view of the forest's focal point. A hole in the middle of a clearing that is gloomy and cave-like and leads down into the distance. I once attempted to pass through it, but as I descended more, my head started to pound. I was genuinely in such anguish that I had to withdraw. I no longer visit that area. There isn't much of a point. Tonight, I'm joined by my colleague. He drinks from his own mug. He exudes a lovely smile and murmurs, "Ah, delicious. Nothing beats a hot mug on a chilly day." I respond, rubbing my beard, "MHM. What do you anticipate happening this evening?" he asks. "Who can say? Nothing, we hope." He mutters, "It's been a long since the last one. We're due for a visitor." I sigh, yes, I suppose we are. The term visitor is a slyly humorous way to describe the objects that emerge from the hole. The phrase was created as a result of how depressingly lonely this specific station may be. It's been 3 months since I arrived here. 3 more to go. Naturally, Sean is here with me tonight as well. A conversation partner. He has been missed. I take one last sip before placing the mug on the small wooden table with a gentle thunk as the rain splashes through the leaves and into the undergrowth. I get up to stand. "Right. Come on, let's move a little closer." He glances out the doorway and mutters, "Ugh," into the drizzle. "You are aware, brother?" He exhales. "Fine. Are we going our own ways or staying together this time?" It makes no sense. I assure him we'll stick together. I give him a shoulder clap and motion for him to go outdoors. "You understand how lonely I am." He laughs. "You're right, man," and with a rifle in hand, he leaves. We struggle through the brush and get a little bit closer to the hole as I lift up my own and step outside, the water dashing on my hood and shoulders. This small outdoor activity is being done because of the rain. Unfortunately, it is blocking our view, and although I might be content to sit in the hut and wait for one of the sensors to go off on a clear day, I don't really trust the sensor's performance in this kind of weather. So we leave. As we go closer to the clearing, the ferns brush up against my camouflage legs, and we take positions next to the best observation trees. Sean, though, seems a touch strange. I call out to him above the sound of the rain, "Hey." He gives me a glance. "Wake up, man, they can see you over there. Retract a little." He massages his head while chuckling. "Sure, true you are." As water gathers and puddles around the hole in the ground in front of us, we sit back and wait. I'm not sure where the tumbling rock and stone came from, but they surround it. In the entire circle of woodland, there isn't another rock of this size. Maybe someone moved them there a very long time ago. Before anything emerges from the hole, another 20 minutes pass. Sean and I basically shoot SHT during that time. Sean tells me, "Man, I really think you'd be so much happy if you gave up this company. Isolating yourself for such a long time is not healthy. What time do you have left?" I respond, 2 months. 6 months in all? Half a year in a place like this, he said. Shaking his head. "Sean, you must be in social situations. People are social beings." "Maybe," I groan. Sean starts to speak again, but I stop him with a swift gesture that points at the hole. We both stoop a little lower in our positions as we watch a shadow emerge from the hole's darkness. The monster is chattering as it appears and is covered in slime. Brown, armored, and repulsive. It has 2 tiny, beady eyes that stare out from behind its circling antennas. Its numerous, pointed legs clatter over the rock and slash into the soggy grass and muck. My stomach rises with a feeling of aversion, but it's fine. Always the simplest, these types. The monstrosity is pierced with fast holes as Sean and I lift our rifles, and as it screeches in rage, its shell and flesh explode forth into the surrounding vegetation. I restrain a laugh. "Disgusting." Sean sighs. "Where in the name of God do these things ever originate?" I choose not to reply. We have posed this query to one another innumerable times over the years. I have some ideas. A deer emerges from the hole in the wreckage of the centipede-like creature. It lifts its head and inhales deeply. I point the weapon up. and the buck runs off, moving swiftly and bouncing through the bushes. Fuck. I yell, pausing to glance between the buck and my companion. I arrow him. Watch the hole, you scumbag. I'll return. Chance would certainly be a good thing. But right now, the deer take precedence. I run after it between the trees, I raise the gun, and I shoot, blowing up a branch in the process. The deer continues to go quickly away. These things don't typically move this quickly. The deer, seeing me coming, makes the mistake of turning sideways to try and get away from me as I stagger after it, leaping over ferns and shrubs. I seize the chance to fire again with a better chance of hitting the target by raising the rifle to my shoulder, and this time I succeed. The deer sputters forth black fluid from its side and makes a noise that is unmistakably not that of a deer as it tumbles to the ground amid a rustle of ferns. My chest rises and falls as I quickly turn back to the clearing after wiping the perspiration and rain off of my forehead. This time, I approach from the other side and extend a hand to Sean, but, as I had anticipated, he is not paying attention. He is gazing off towards the woods, seemingly preoccupied. He gets up to stand. Sean. He turns to face me when I yell at him. Were you keeping an eye on the hole? The man does not reply, and we both become aware of movement at the edge of the clearing. A scrunched-up map is held in one hand as a worried-looking man emerges from between the trees carrying a rucksack and waterproof pants. He says, looking between Sean and I, "Hi." At once, Sean and I both lift our rifles. With the weapon's barrel cautiously locked on the stranger, I start moving in the direction of my colleague from the edge of the clearing. He raises his hands and exclaims, "Wah hey." In panic. "I don't get it, I thought you guys were rangers." He tries to stifle an embarrassed chuckle as he says, "I'm not a poacher or anything like that. To be honest, I'm just lost." Literally. I'm completely lost. "From where are you?" I query him. I'm sorry. As he responds, the man moves his spectacles. I had no idea I spoke with an accent, a pathetic joke effort. One more feeble laugh. I approach the stranger and tell him straight out, "Tell me where you're from right now or I'll blow your head off," as I take my place next to Sean. "Speak loudly." The man murmurs, "I'm from Unread." "What?" I jerk the rifle in response. "Speak clearly," I commanded. Unread. The man responds with a louder voice, his fear clearly visible in his features. I inform him that it isn't a real place. "What nation?" "I don't." "What dreadful nation?" "This nation, of course. Let me just leave, this isn't humorous, okay? I'll navigate myself. Please." Sean and I gaze at each other. "Hiker, tell me the name of any nation. All I need to know is that." As the rain pours down through the trees, the man trembles where he is standing. He stutters and murmurs before finally managing to speak, but his words are a string of nonsense. I quickly aim, pull the trigger, and a hole in the man's forehead's middle appears. He collapses like a stone as black liquid erupts from his face and bursts from his ribcage, causing his skin to spasm and crawl. I spittled on the floor. "Jesus." Sean sighs. There definitely isn't any purpose in reprimanding the man for allowing the beast through. I then let it go. Under the rain, the corpse trembles in the grass. "Unread," repeats Sean. "Do you believe this location is real? Or did he simply invent it? A random assortment of noises?" "Man, who can say?" I retort, shrugging. "You can take my guess as well as yours." Sean stops short of continuing. For another 30 minutes, we sit next to one another and keep an eye on the hole. Even though we are more quiet this time, it's still great to have his companionship. Rain is falling. The silence is broken by Sean saying, "I gotta take a piss, guy." He struggles to stand up. "Hey, don't go too far," I say. "Just urinate there." "Hey, my man, just urinate right there. I need you awake and engaged." Sean hesitates, looks at me, and then shakes his head. "Okay, man. I'll try to avoid turning around too quickly. I wouldn't want to knock you out by hitting you with my dick." I chuckle as he discharges himself next to the tree, but I quickly stop as a swarm of shadowy creatures start to emerge from the hole. "Step up, Sean. Hear me out, quick, stay vigilant." Through the rain, the shadowy figures quickly take shape. All of them are identical replicas of me. They rush to me instead of making a break for it. "Fuck." One of the replicas grabs my shoulders and yells, "Soldier." Into my face. "Christ, praise God. You've got life. Right, come right away with us." We still have time to transport you to safety. I push him away and draw my weapon. My replica turns to face me after first glancing at the barrel and then swears and raises his hands. Again? For the love of fuck. Why does he keep acting in this manner? He turns to one of my replicas and lightly shoves the man's chest. Why won't he simply return? What are we doing incorrectly? I've made the decision not to participate in this little drama. I aim and shoot, making a hole in the neck of my copy. The blood starts out red, which is fairly alarming, but it quickly turns black as he collapses to the ground gasping. The other versions of myself all flee in fear. 5 more of them are present. One of them yells, pointing at my colleague Sean, "Tell him to return right away. We cannot continue doing this." I start shooting while Sean stumbles and mutters. The head of the duplicate splits open. He descends. 2 of the remaining clones make a hurried break for it. Back to the hole, which is intriguing to me but not so fascinating that I would spare them. One after the other they descend. Bang, bang. There are just 2 left at this time. The one who is closest to me extends a hand to me while they exchange glances. He gently repeats, "Listen," while I reload. I realize this looks terrible, impossible. He's correct. I'm trying my hardest not to show it, but I'm fucking frightened. These things are becoming quite inventive. You must have faith in us, though. Or at least give us a chance to speak. Do you know how long you have been away? The other duplicate yells angrily. He won't pay attention, just like the previous time, I said. The duplicate that is closest to me direct eyes me. He says to me, "I don't care what the others say. I won't ever abandon you. I made the commitment once, and I plan to keep it." Bang. I expel the imposter to the highest heaven. As his friend tries to flee, he panics and trips on the damp grass, and I shoot him. His dead corpse thumps to the ground, his skin quivering in strange places all over, as though being compressed or stretched within. I gave him a few extra shots just to be safe. Sean turns to face me and examines my face. "Are you doing well, man?" Soon after, he asks. "Yeah," I feign in response. "Yep." I look at my clones' faces in fascination. Now, let's talk corpses. I make an effort not to think about it too much. I give Sean a quick look. Maybe I've allowed this little act to go on for too long. Sean becomes pale and turns to look at the hole past me. I turn to meet his eyes. 3 individuals emerge, one of them is holding a white flag. Over the sound of the rain, someone screams out, "Wait." I squint to get a better view through it. Do not shot. I'm back again. A second copy despite the fact that this one is at least 2 decades older. Sean's twin, who is also of comparable age, is present. They are being followed by a woman in her 30s who has her hands raised and a terrified look on her face. My daughter is here. At very least, it was a sick replica that aged like the others. Exasperated, I extend my hands. "What are you looking for?" "Pay attention to me, you moron." My senior copy replies loudly. "This is who I truly am. The genuine you. This is the actual Sean, too." Actual Sean. He places one hand on my daughter's shoulder and the other on the replica of Sean's shoulder. She gives me a wide-eyed stare. She remarks he seems very youthful. She makes a call. "Dad. It's me. Do you recall? Tell me you remember, please. Do you recall the journey we made to the beach? On my 9th birthday, you took us to the coast. We observed dolphins." She lifts a necklace from her neck that is attached to a little, sparkly rock. "We had this stone fashioned into a necklace, so please let me have it." My copy is approaching me and says things are going to change. The facts of this hole merely touch the surface of things beyond your comprehension. It's a passage, and I believe you already knew that. A route leading elsewhere and between places. Yes, sometimes to different planes, although the tunnels are long and circle back on themselves. He strikes his chest with his hands. I realize that I'm rambling and that this may not make sense to you. Nonetheless, we come from the same cycle. The same route went back and forward. I breathe in deeply. I give this lunatic my whole attention. I take aim and fire while inhaling the aroma of the pine that had been cleansed by the rain. Bang! My alleged future self collapses to the floor. My daughter screams and the older Sean version kneels before the body. He yells, "No! No!" And I take him out with me. The most difficult is to duplicate my daughter. She trembles in place and then turns to give me a rebellious look, provoking me to fire in the icy silence. She says, her voice trembling, "It doesn't have to be this way." I savor my tongue before challenging her. Bang. She descends. Just another body with a leak. Sean looks at the decomposing bodies. As the rifle shots resound in our ears, the trees rustling in the rain. He turns to face me. How do you do it, exactly? He mumbles. How do you do it? How the fuck? I rub my eyes with a sleeve. I warn him, do not let anything escape. There's a rationale for the regulation. He continues in a low voice, clearly disgusted, you do it so easy. Do you believe that? I query him. As the rain drips from my chin, I turn to face him with my jaw clenched. Say something, Sean. Let me know if what I'm doing is incorrect. Should I be allowing these abominations and things into the world? And from just where do they originate? Why would they go at all if where they are going is so great? There is even more motivation to just keep firing if there is something worse that is driving them away. Since I am unsure of which of these atrocities is the worst, it is better to be cautious than sorry. That they have something crucial to share with us. He queries me. Important? Screw them. All of it is a falsehood and a scam. I lose myself the moment I let my guard down. And, in relation to that, the rifle is raised, and I aim it at his head. He retreats. Wait on, he giggles nervously before stopping when he understands I'm not joking. He only says, you're crazy. You've become lost in your own thoughts. It's me. This is Sean. Sean, if the things that emerge from the ground are good, why do they always lie? What makes them lie? I'm sorry, but I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, you do, my friend, I believe. I fire the gun. I really loved having you here with me tonight. I'll give you that, you are a convincing impersonator. But you've overlooked one important fact. Something is always missed. Dead is Sean. Long deceased, dead for 2 years. He lost his life defending the locals from an evil and emerged from that nearby hole. I'll thus meet you soon. Sean's face writhes in astonishment and shock. He starts to say, please, and I shoot him in the forehead, making a loud bang. He collapses. He descends. Similar as the rest of them. That awful, dark liquid was dripping out and covering the grass. His neck and shoulders sprout enormous, but still unformed bug legs that twitch in the rain. I raise my head toward the sky and inhale slowly and deeply. I was too shocked to respond when Sean initially appeared to me this evening through the trees. Although it was a potentially catastrophic error, for whatever reason the duplicate did not fire me with his rifle. He could have killed me right then if he had intended to use it for that purpose. He refused. Then I just went along with it, observing him intently. As I already mentioned, it may be really lonely up here, and I really miss that man. The rain is now gradually lessening. I wait as dark sludge starts to bubble up from the opening of the hole, and then I go back to my hut, where I sit in my chair and sigh as water drips from the branches and into the bucket next to me. By daybreak, the corpses will have vanished. Tonight, there won't be any more visitors. Because of the black muck, the tunnel needs time to recharge. I grab my mug and take a slow sip of the bitterly cold tea. Down 3 months. To go are 3 more.